After seeing this movie, I've come to the conclusion that I would win because I'm built different. Hey guys, welcome back to Man Cave Movies, and today we're going to be talking about the new Lomg Walk Stephen King adaptation that's in theaters right now. I'm going to talk about what I liked about the movie, some things I didn't really like about the movie, and then I'll let you know if I think you should see it or not. So, The Long Walk takes place in a dystopian, alternate America ruled by a totalitarian regime, and in it, 50 boys are forced to take part in an annual walking contest where they are forced to maintain speed or be executed. And this basically goes until there's one survivor left. And I really think that there is a lot to like about this movie. I think that it is utterly devastating and brutal at certain points. They make it very clear that these are teenagers that are going through this. I think it does this better than, say, something like the Hunger Games, where I feel like sometimes it can be lost that how young some of these characters are. This film does not shy away from that at all, and it really, really harps on just how brutal and senseless this whole thing is. There are points where a character is going to be forced out of the competition, and you know what's coming. You know they're about to be executed, and they just make you wait and wait and wait, and you just sit in your seat and you're like, oh my gosh, I do not want to see it. I do not want to see it. And it does not shy away from showing or from being very real about how brutal this story is. And what makes it even more so just devastating is the lead characters, the musketeers, as they are referred to, your main group of guys you're going to be following, have great chemistry. I saw in a review somewhere that they would love to see these guys in like some sort of comedy together, because there are some moments that are genuinely funny, and these people genuinely have that, I just met this guy, but due to the circumstances, you know what, I feel really connected to this person right now. And I think that this movie does a great job of making you feel for these characters, so when they do go, it's all the more devastating. Also, as somebody who read the book about 2 months ago, there are definitely changes. Like, let me put it this way. I was not able to see where everything was going, even though I had read the book, because there's so much color added to the original book that it's almost its own thing. It still follows and has the same bones as this original book, but it has its own voice. It takes characters that weren't really important or more background and elevates them. It adds a couple of new plot points, which I definitely think flesh everything out. And usually I'm not the type of person that likes source material being changed. If any of you talk to me after I watched the new Lilo and Stitch movie, I hated that thing because it did that, but it did that and betrayed the original purpose of that story, whereas this elevates it. So I think it's okay. And the ending is one of those that makes you sit there and just go, like, I know it had to be that way, but I wish it could have turned out differently for these characters. So overall, I know it sounds weird to be like, oh yeah, this is devastating, this is heart-wrenching. It's amazing, but it really is. But kind of going off of that change that they introduce in this movie, not all of it was stuff I enjoyed. Now, none of it was to the point where it ruined the movie for me. Not at all. And you'll see in my final rating, these are nitpicks. But I think some of the changes where they kind of shuffle some characters' backstories and motivations and just traits around that I wasn't a huge fan of, because all of the original characters were still there that these traits came from. So I didn't really understand what the point of moving them around was. It just kind of seemed a little pointless to me. Like, it didn't ruin anything. It was just like, oh, well, that character had that backstory in the book, but now this character has that backstory, and that other character has this other guy's backstory. It's kind of like, why? I didn't really understand why they did that. Um, I also think that there are a couple of points in the movie where it drags a little bit. Not a lot. Um, just like a couple, 5-minute stretches where I'm just kind of like, oh, there's nothing happening but them walking. And because you don't get the inner monologue you get in the book, it's not as effective as a tool as when in the book you could do, oh, they're walking miles in silence because they're so worn out, and he's just in his head, thinking about things, flashing back to things, and you can't really do that in the movie without getting overly monologue heavy or overly voiceover heavy. So I appreciate that they didn't do that, but it also kind of, I feel like, takes a little bit away. However, like I said though, these are nitpicks. Overall I really, really enjoyed this movie. I don't know if it's one I'll watch again anytime soon, just because it is that devastating. It's one of those where you watch it, you appreciate it, you pick it apart, and then you don't really watch it again for a while because you don't really want to go to that headspace that the movie puts you in. But overall, I definitely would recommend go seeing it. Don't see it if you're squeamish or if this sort of concept sounds like it would bother you, because it absolutely will. You'll absolutely come out of the theater bothered and just kind of having an emotional response to it. There's nothing wrong with having an emotional response to the movie, but if you don't want to go to the theater for that kind of experience, don't go see this one. But if you are able to go and see a movie like this, I definitely recommend going out and seeing it while it's still in theaters. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.